Welcome back to another BLs in Your Area, a series where I'll take you through my thoughts on BLs I've watched recently. For today's episode, we're going through Thai BLs in particular because I've done Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese BLs recently, and the Thai BLs were too many in numbers to be added to the list, so we're going through some of them today. Without further ado, let's get started. And the first show is Dare You to Death, starring JoongDunk, and the plot was promising. It had some interesting points to it, which was the reason why I actually decided to even go and read the novel. But there were quite a few issues with the writing. Even as I read the novel, there were a few plot holes and things like that, especially with the investigation. I feel like every BL that has to do with like police, enforcement, law, medical, those specialized fields, there's always issues with it. But these ones were not even related to the specific field itself, more to just the writing. And I feel like the show made it even worse. The lack of professionalism of the characters, the conflict of interest, especially when we think about Jung's character, considering his brother was part of the group of students that could be both the perpetrators as well as the victims or potential victims. Him being like his older brother, protective, only family, whatever. Most of the show he spent trying to get into Dunk's character spent instead of actually trying to solve the case. We saw very little of the actual solving or the investigation, or at least the characters didn't seem mostly focused on that. And considering the genre of the show and the premise, that was a big letdown. And then that aside, the fact that they didn't fit the part, in the sense that the two characters, the two main leads of the show, of the story, were supposed to be like grown adults who are professional in the law enforcement police space, and they didn't sell the part, as in JoongDunk. It nearly felt like they were cosplaying, or like when boys are trying to put on big men pants. And I thought maybe he should have gone to someone like, I don't know, First Cow or Joss Gowin, because they would at least look more the part, acting aside, which was a disappointment. But overall it was okay. It's just all of the gaps, but at least they took on the challenge of doing something different. We know how GMMTV likes to rehash and reuse the same plots all the time. And the next one is one that I went in expecting just like a fluffy, lowish budget teen drama, but left with some valuable lesson about missed opportunities, taking risks, and following your dreams. And that is Rearrange the Series. Mostly because the story was not new, so I had very little expectations, but the execution and the writing were done beautiful. Even with the cliches, obviously they were still there. They were done really well. And the cast, like the chemistry between them, their acting kind of sold it on to me very well. And the soundtrack, amazing. Like the band that was created off the back of the show, I love their songs. I still listen to them religiously. So it's one of those gems where you may not think it's like just another teen drama. It's really worth your while. So I highly recommend this one. Next one is Tuang With You. This one was mostly annoying from the beginning because the cringiness, it really took me, like, it was way too over the top for me. And I normally don't like that kind of show, so it was overall annoying. But the good side is it kind of showed a mostly healthy couple dynamic between like the couples that were showcased, and then some good family relationships, good and bad, and with some like development. But throughout the show, I was thinking like Shin's attitude, it literally left a sore spot in my perception, because maybe this is me just downplaying his trauma. I just didn't think that his trauma justified him being mostly a jerk to people in a lot of instances. I understand distancing yourself from people, like the emotional detachment. Like I relate to it even because that's part of my personality. But he was just, maybe it's a problem with the acting or how the character was portrayed, but it just felt annoying. And I also didn't like some of his dynamics with Tuang, because it felt like he was using a lot of emotional blackmailing or bargaining, like because he knew Tuang liked him more than he did in the beginning. So I felt like he used that a lot to his leverage. And we're on to another scary one. I actually started watching this immediately or simultaneously to Kamjida, and it was scary. Like I could not watch this during the night. There was one time I tried to start it, and my flatmate was, at the time I was still in the other place, my flatmate was out that weekend, so I was going to be the weekend alone. I was actually scared. The name God Bless You From Death, starring Pavel and Poon. I think that's his name. I always get confused. But yeah, this one was the total opposite of Dare You to Death, in the sense that also a kind of thriller-ish romance with big focus on the law enforcement police investigation as the key theme, because it is a crime that he's being investigated, and it kind of links all characters together. And there was also some issues with writing. I think it felt like the couple dynamic kind of fell through the cracks a bit, because contrary to Diary to Death, the investigation was a big part, and they didn't have time to kind of build the connection between the characters. So when we would see them being close or declaring their love suddenly, it felt a bit like abrupt, or feel like there wasn't a build up for us. So we were caught in a surprise. And also the guy here being one of the key witnesses slash suspects, being in a relationship or being very close to the lead officer in charge of the case, also again conflict of interest and things like that, made it kind of bit off, but it was okay. It's a goodish thriller. We got a happy ending. And the next one is Peach Lover, and I really don't understand what we wanted to do with this one. I really tried to watch it, but I just couldn't carry on. I did not finish it. I think it's done, but I could not watch it in good conscience because everything just felt too much, and the cringiness really killed me and it traumatized me. I don't even like peaches that much, but I think it made me not like Peach even more. Don't watch it. And the final one for today's video is Rearrange the Series. This one felt like all trauma cliches were put into one place in the worst possible way. The writing was terrible. The first and the second halves also felt like they were written and or produced by different people, or at least the objectives were different. So it left me really confused and things were very much disconnected. It had some potential, but execution was terrible. Any communication would have made things better for nearly every character. And the death was very odd. It could have happened. Obviously, I know death happens to anyone at any time, but the way it was done was very poorly done. And it felt very, like, even the way the guy found out, it felt very, everything felt disconnected. And it felt like we were watching 3 different shows simultaneously. So there was some potential, but we fell doomed to the cliches and poor execution with the writing. So again, watch it at your own risk. And that's it. These are actually not all the Thai BLs I've watched recently. There's quite a few more to the list. Some that are still underway. I mean, I'm still watching them. Some have finished, but I'm still watching them. So I may compile them onto another Thai-specific list. So did you watch any of those? What were your thoughts? Let me know in the comments and see you next time.